Hello, wonderful beings. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, episode 135. My name is Anisha. I am a mindfulness meditation teacher and an aligned life coach, and I have a background in psychology. And I have been a teacher on Insight Timer since 3 years now. So, this is a little bit about me, and I would love to know about you. Like, where are you from, and are you joining for the very first time, or have you been here before? Hello, Michael. Michael says, Hi, Anisha. Love this unique stuff. I am so happy to have you here again, Michael, and I'm glad that you're enjoying these lives. Caitlin says, Hi from Hudson Valley, New York. Wonderful. Welcome, Caitlin. So happy to have you at the start of the live again. It's nice to have you, from the beginning. Okay. So, anyone else who feel called to drop a hi and introduce themselves, you're welcome to do that in the comments. And until then, let me give you an overview of what we do here in these lives. So, anyone joining for the very first time would know what is going to happen here. So, we usually start these lives with a meditation of around 15 minutes. And that meditation is based upon the quote that you see when you open Insight Timer app. So we try to, tap into that wisdom that is right in front of our eyes and feed it to our subconscious mind using, certain affirmations. So once we have done the meditation and we are feeling more open, we are feeling more centered, our vibrations has been raised, then we move on to the next part of this live, which is receiving that divine wisdom, that divine guidance. And how we do that is we have a wheel. That's why the name Wheel of Wisdom. And on the wheel, there are names of various transformational books that I have came across in my own journey of healing and personal growth. So we spin the wheel, and the universe, source, divine, spirit, angels, ancestors, guide, higher self, whatever you want to call it, chooses a book for us from that wheel. Okay. And then what we do is we play a game where I ask you guys to choose a number, and then I pick a number randomly, and then we do a reading based on that. Okay. So I will share like more details when we get to each part. But before that, I want to know that are you guys ready for the first part of this live, which is the meditation? So have you settled in a quiet place and are you ready to begin with the meditation? Michael is excited. Wonderful. So give me a second to, type it in the comments so that in case anyone joins while we are meditating, they would know what is happening. So just a second. Until then, if you are not, you can, settle in wherever you want to meditate. Okay, so all set. Now, okay, Caitlin is ready and welcome Silva back. We were just beginning with our meditation. So begin by coming into a comfortable position. You can choose to lie down or sit upright. Whatever posture feels most comfortable for you. Lengthening your spine, resting your hands in your lap, on your knees, or by the sides of your body, wherever they rest naturally. And now, if you feel safe, allow your eyes to become heavier and heavier until the eyelids close all the way down. Letting go of the outside world and arriving within. Know that you can always return back to a state of alertness whenever you need to. But for now, rest your awareness on your breath. Noticing the air flowing in and out, becoming one with your breath. With each exhale, feel your body relaxing more and more, sinking deeper and deeper into the surface beneath you. Today, we are going to meditate and absorb the wisdom from a timeless quote by Robert H. Schuller. The quote is: problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. Problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. This quote reminds us that the primary purpose of an obstacle is not to defeat us, but to provide critical feedback that informs our next steps. It gives us an understanding of how to deal with difficulties in life. It teaches us that our obstacles are not meant to halt our progress, but rather reroute our energy and prompt us to find a better, smarter, and creative way forward. As you let these words sink deep within you, allow your whole body to relax deeper and deeper. Allow yourself to drift away into the subconscious state of your mind. And as you arrive here, simply rest and allow these words to flow directly into your subconscious mind. So, the words that I am going to say next are affirmations inspired by today's quote, and I will repeat each affirmation 3 times. For the first 2 times, simply listen and let these words sink in. And on the third time, you are invited to repeat the affirmation after me, either silently or out loud. So let's begin. Obstacles do not define me, they refine me. Obstacles don't define me, they refine me. Now repeat after me. Obstacles don't define me, they refine me. A setback doesn't close my fate, it just says, try another gate. A setback doesn't close my fate, it just says, try another gate. Repeat after me. A setback doesn't close my fate, it just says, try another gate. A closed door today helps me see the better way. A closed door today helps me see a better way. A closed door today helps me see a better way. Obstacles don't say you can't. They whisper, grow from circumstance. Obstacles don't say you can't. They whisper, grow from circumstance. Obstacles don't say you can't. They whisper, grow from circumstance. When I feel stuck, life shows the cue. A shift in view brings something new. When I feel stuck, life shows the cue. A shift in view brings something new. When I feel stuck, life shows the cue. A shift in view brings something new. Each pause is part of the climb. Progress follows in its own time. Each pause is part of the climb, and progress flows in its own time. Each pause is part of the climb. My progress flows in its own time. Delay doesn't mean I am behind. I rise in my own perfect time. Delay doesn't mean I am behind. I rise in my own perfect time. Delay doesn't mean I am behind. I rise in my own perfect time. Rest guides me more than force can do. Slowing down reveals what's true. Rest guides me more than force can do. Slowing down reveals what's true. Rest guides me more than force can do. Slowing down reveals what's true. Difficulties called calls forth the best in me. Difficulty calls forth the best in me. This difficulty calls forth the best in me. My courage grows when things feel tall. I take one step, and that is all. My courage grows when things feel tall. I take the next step, and that is all. My courage grows when things feel tall. I take the next small step, and that is all. When I am unsure, I breathe and see. The next small step comes naturally. When I am unsure, I breathe and see. The next small step comes naturally. When I am unsure, I breathe and see. The next small step comes naturally. Clarity joins when I begin. not before the journey is in. Clarity comes when I begin, not before the journey is in. Clarity joins when I begin, not before the journey is in. I learn by doing, day by day. Wisdom builds along the way. I learn by doing, day by day. Wisdom builds along the way. I learn by doing, day by day. Wisdom builds along the way. New roads rise when old one end. Each shift becomes my quiet friend. New roots rise when old ones end. Each shift becomes my quiet friend. New roots rise when old one ends. Each shift becomes my quiet friend. You did great. Now, knowing that you have planted these seeds of wisdom into your subconscious mind and have watered them and nourished them through these affirmations, now it's time to return. So come back to your body and begin to wake it up gently by wiggling your toes and your fingers, bringing small movements however your body wants to be moved. Becoming aware of the air touching your skin, noticing the sounds around you, and whenever you feel ready, gently opening your eyes, arriving back in the space If you guys feel like sharing your experience of the meditation or your favorite affirmation in the comments, you are welcome to do that. And if you don't feel like typing yet, you can simply press the heart somewhere here to let me know that the practice resonated with you. And I see a lot of new people have joined us. So, welcome to you all. A very warm welcome. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. And in case you guys joined late or towards at the end of the meditation, I will share where you can find the meditation and listen to it again towards the end of this live. But for now, it's time to move on to the next part of this live, which is about receiving the message that we all need to hear most at this moment of our life. Okay, but before that, I will go through the comments real quick and then we will dive into receiving some, divine guidance for today. Okay, so Katie says, perfect timing this morning. I am glad, Katie, that this meditation resonated with you and it is maybe what you needed today or, how you wanted to start your day today. Thank you for sharing that here. Kathleen says, hi Anisha, that was beautiful. Hello, Kathleen, welcome back. And I'm glad that, you enjoyed the meditation. And thank you so much for all the hearts as well. I appreciate them. Okay, so now it's time for me to show you guys the wheel of wisdom. Okay, give me a second. Oh, hello, Peace. Peace says thanks so much. I am so happy that you found some peace in the meditation. And it's lovely to have you here. We all can use some peace. So, yeah, lovely name. Okay. So, my dear ones, this is our wheel of wisdom. And this wheel that you see here contains the name of over 50 transformational books that I have came across in my own journey of healing of personal growth. And now what we are going to do is we are going to spin this wheel and let the universe, source, divine, God, consciousness, spirit, angels, whatever you believe in, choose a book for all of us. Okay, but before I spin the wheel, in order for each and every one of us to receive what we need to hear most today, I invite you guys to take a deep breath and let it go. And now bring to your mind anything specific that you would like to receive some guidance on. And if you don't have anything specific in your mind, then you can simply set an intention that may I receive the guidance for my highest good. And once you have either thought of something specific or you have set this intention, let me know by typing ready in the comments so that we can, go move on and spin the wheel. Um, you're welcome, peace. Cassandra says morning. Good morning, Cassandra. Just on time for the, reading, for the first reading. Kathleen is ready. Wonderful. Okay. What about other guys? Have you thought of something? Or have you set the intention? Okay, peace is ready as well. Okay. So Now I invite you to hold whatever it is that you guys thought in your awareness as we spin the wheel. Okay, so the book that came for all of us here today is Change Your Life in 7 Days. Change Your Life in 7 Days by Paul McKenna. So let's see what this amazing book has to offer us. What, how it is going to change our life or make a major impact in it. So, so what I usually do is I ask you guys to, pick a number, but for this particular book, the thing is that I do not have the original book that I have read because I have, read these books over the past 10 years or so. And even though I do not have the original book, I have notes from these books, because as I was reading each book, I highlighted the insightful paragraphs or the transformative exercises from these books. So I have kind of my notes here. And how I'm going to play with this is I am going to close my eyes and set this intention that may everyone here receives whatever it is that they need today. And then I'm going to scroll through the pages of these notes with my eyes closed until I feel like, this is the section that everyone here needs to hear from. Okay? So that's how we're going to do with this book. And maybe we will play the numbers game with the next one. Okay. So, and as I do so, I invite you to hold your, intention or that specific thing in your awareness so that we, each and every one of us receives what we need most. Okay, it was quick. So, the author says, you are unique. There is no one who has ever lived who can do things exactly the way you do them. You have a special gift of uniqueness to bring to the world. So it was a pretty short message, but I guess this is something that someone here needs to hear. A reminder that someone here needed that if you are questioning your worth or the value of your existence or what you can offer, then know that you are unique. There is no one who has ever lived who can do things exactly the way you do them. You have a special gift of uniqueness to bring to the world. Let me know if this resonated with anyone, if you needed to hear that today. If you needed that reminder, because it is so often when the world tell us that we have nothing to offer, we have achieved nothing, you know, and we may even be a burden. We feel like it sometimes that I might be a burden on other people, and we forget or we think that all of these wonderful things have already been done. What can I do? But your way of viewing anything, your way of doing anything is different because no one has ever had the experiences that you have had. No one has, this unique set of things that has happened to your life. It hasn't happened for anyone else. So remember that. And remember that whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you think, everything is being tinted by, there are like this sparkles that shines through everything that you do. And these sparkles are your uniqueness, what you have to offer, your presence, and that is enough. Mike says, I identify with that. When we are gone from this world, there will never be another you. Exactly. Thank you for bringing that reflection of death, to this space, because that makes it even more precious. That makes this life even more precious. And there has never been and there never will be anyone like you. So take your space in this world. You do not need to shrink. You do not need to hide yourself. Take up your space. And I'm glad that, this resonated with you, Mike. Thank you for sharing that with me. Okay. Now, since this was a pretty short one, let's move on to the next reading for today. So, again, anyone who joined new, I invite you to ask live, what do I need today? And then hold that in your mind, hold that question in your mind as I spin the wheel. Let's see what the universe wants to send your way. So, the name of the book that came for all of us here is Mindfulness on the Go. Simple meditation practices you can do anywhere by Jan Chosen Bays. So, let's see what wants to come through. I'm pretty sure there might be a practice that would come through. But, anyways, let's see. So, give me a second to choose some numbers and then we will play a game. Okay. So, my dear ones, now the instruction for this game is I am going to ask you guys to choose a number between certain numbers, okay? And I do not want you guys to rush. Instead, I want you guys to take your time and see which number is coming up for you. And then share that number in the comments. And then I will go through all your numbers and pick a number that my intuition is feeling called to. Okay? So, in this way, we will get to tap into that collective wisdom to receive the message that everyone here needs to hear. Okay? So, the numbers between which I want you guys to choose are 21 to 91. Here you go. Thank you, Durgesh. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Joanne, Sherry, Sarah, Ruth Ann, Kim, Gemma, Jessica, Mike, Cassandra, Tess, Sharon. Anyone else who would like to share a number? Okay, so let me go through these numbers here. Thank you, Peace. Peace, I would like you to choose a number between 21 to 91. So can you choose another number? Okay, so let's see what are the numbers here. Okay, no problem, Peace. Thank you for choosing a number. Mm. There are a lot of numbers, so give me 5 more seconds. Okay, so the number that I'm feeling most called to here is, where is it? Yeah, 84. Thank you, Sarah, for choosing that number for all of us. Mike says, I really feel like 10 was my number, but it doesn't fit the criteria at all. Yeah, I think on page number 10, it might be something like introduction or something. So that's why I didn't put that. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through page number 84 by Sarah. Okay, so the practice that came on that page is mindful driving. Thank you, Peace. I am glad that the space or something about me resonated with you. Um, yeah, so the heading for this chapter is mindful driving. So the exercise is bring mindful attention to driving. Notice all the body movements, car movements, sounds, habit patterns, and thoughts involved in driving. And if you do not drive a car, you can bring attention to riding a bike or being a passenger in a car, bus, or train. So, the practice is basically, you know, so mindfulness can be applied to anything. And since the name of the book is Mindfulness on the Go, so it is more like for busy people who do not have the time to specially sit in a meditation room and do the practice. Even though practicing mindfulness meditation formally, as well as doing it throughout your day, both, complements each other. But if you cannot sit in a meditation, you can actually become more present in your life without having to change anything. So if Sarah or anyone who is resonating drives a car, or even if you don't, but let's go with first, if you drive a car, then, you know, um, set an intention or make a promise to yourself that I would be mindful when I drive my car, or I would be mindful for 1 minute at least as I drive my car today. So it is not, you know, um, it is kind of ideal goal to be mindful all the time, but you can try for being mindful for 1 minute, or to be mindful when you get in the car and when you get out of the car, or some other variation of it. Okay, whatever fits for you. So, for example, if you're getting in the car, so as soon as you arrive at the door of the car, you will become mindful. You will notice the door, the color of it. Like you noticed when you maybe went to purchase that car for the very first time. And you will, when you will open it, you will feel the handle on your hand. You will feel the temperature of it. And as you pull it out, you will feel the movement of your hand moving, in this manner, feeling the joints move. And as you enter, you will notice the, sense of smell, the smell changing from your environment to when you enter your car. As you sit down, you will notice the temperature also changing there and feeling the seat, the support beneath you, like your car is, giving you a hug. So feeling like, after a long day, what it would feel like to just let your car give you a hug. So these are just things that are popping in my head, but it might be a different experience for you, when you try this thing. And similarly, you can do it when you get out of the car. And that can become a sacred practice for you. That can become your own meditation space where you are mindful, where you are present. And there is something more. So there are, some lessons that the author shares that people, maybe insights that people got from these practices. Sarah says, thank you. I do need to be more mindful when driving, so this resonates with me. I am so happy that it does. And thank you for sharing it with me, because your feedback actually helps me trust my intuition even more. So, yeah, it means a lot. Cassandra says, I usually zone out driving, so I will try it. Definitely. And we all do. You know, Initially, you might haven't when you learned it for the first time, when you were driving it for the initial few days, or when you tried a new path out. But now that it is a regular part of your life, it is very natural that we do that. And I actually use that very same example in one of my courses that helps you become more, mindful, become more present. So, yeah, so it is very natural. And even though you are not the driver, as a passenger also this thing happens. So I love that, this is resonating with so many people, that how the simple thing, how first you becoming aware of, this opportunity for you to develop this mindfulness skill. And then, you know when you do that, you will see some other things unfold. For example, you will notice that this energy building up when you have to stop at a traffic light, or you can practice when you stop at a traffic light. You can use that as a moment to practice mindfulness. Instead of it being a moment of irritation, of impatience, it can become a moment of, becoming more present with whatever is happening inside of me. How does that impatience feels like in my hands, in my legs? Because sometimes, people like fidget their legs and stuff, because there is this energy building of impatience. You want things to move and there's this energy and you can't. So, and you don't have to change that, you just become aware of it. Or you might notice something beautiful outside of your window, or a child, in the car next, in the next car's window. So, yeah. Mike says, mindfulness while driving is a practice that I try to do consistently. I am glad that this is a part of your life, and if you would like to share anything, anything helpful that you found from doing that, or any insight that you got, you're welcome to do that in the comments, so that it motivates others to give that a try. Hi, Rudy, welcome. Yeah, we are soon going to move on to the next reading. So at that point, I usually invite everyone to bring to your mind whatever it is that you need guidance on. So, yeah, at that point, you can, hold that in your awareness and receive whatever it is that you need. Wonderful. Sherry says, sometimes I om while driving. That is another wonderful practice. And it really helps us regulate our whole body, our whole system. It settles us or it energizes us depending on, whatever effect it has on you. And it is a spiritual practice as well. It is said to be the sound of the universe. So, thank you, Sherry, for sharing your own version of, how you live more consciously, because that is the goal, right? To live with more presence, awareness, consciousness. So, thank you for sharing that. Okay, and Mike has shared, his experience of mindful driving. Mike says, it helps me to slow down and keeps the police at bay. Exactly. Yeah, so you are also making less mistakes, when you are mindful, when you are more present, instead of when you are distracted and everything, when you are zoned out or distracted. Okay, thank you, Mike, for sharing that. Sarah says namaste. Namaste, Sarah. Okay. And in case anyone, would like to know about that course that I was mentioning, because it includes a lot of practices like these, that I mentioned with mindful driving. So if you want to feel more alive or present, you can check out this course because it has, you know, ways and like whole guided practices as well to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, just like mindful driving. So, yeah, if you feel called to, you can check that out. Okay, so, hmm, so let's see, let's read another paragraph, from another book. So, I invite you guys to take a moment and bring to your mind anything that you need guidance on today. And if there is nothing specific, just set an intention that may I receive something for my highest good. And hold that in your mind as we spin the wheel. This book has came up a lot. Okay, so we have 50 books, but this one comes up a lot. The name of this is Oneness with Life by Eckhart Tolle. So let's see what wants to come through this book. So give me a second to open the book. And until then, if you guys have found any value in, the meditations or the readings that we did so far, then you're welcome to, make a donation to support me to keep this space alive or to make a contribution to help me create more resources. I have a lot of free resources and gifts. So your contribution helped me fund them. So yeah, if you want to, you can, support me. Until then, I will open the book. Let's see what wants to come through from Oneness with Life. Okay, so, uh, thank you so much for, all these beautiful pieces of your heart here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah, Mike, Sherry, for these kind and generous donations and for allowing me to continue the work that I love doing and the work that supports so many others. So, you guys have created a ripple, and it is going to impact not only a lot of other people, but it is going to come back to you in the form of unexpected blessings. So, yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah. So now it's time to do another reading. So I invite you guys to choose a number between 9 to 47. Again, no rush. Just take your time, see what number comes up, and I will choose a number based on my intuition out of all of them, okay? Leslie says reciprocity. Yeah. And it makes so, it brings me so much joy that this space is making a difference in your life or in your day. Okay, thank you, Riddhi. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sharon. Sarah. Okay, another Sarah. Thank you, Durgesh. Anyone else who would like to share a number? Okay, then let's go with. Okay, thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Cassandra. So let's see what wants to come through. Thank you, Chandan. Thank you, Era or Ira. Okay, so the number that I'm feeling most called to is 24, and the number has been chosen by Cassandra for all of us. Thank you, Cassandra. And I know that two people chose 11, so maybe if we have time, we can, check that one as well, since, two people's energies aligned. So maybe. Okay, let's see what is on page number 24. So the heading for this is Cassandra is celebrating. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Okay, yeah, so the heading for this is Awakening. The author says, only by awakening can you know the true meaning of that word. Only by awakening can you know the true meaning of that word. Instead of being lost in your thinking, when you awaken, you recognize yourself as the awareness behind it. Thinking then ceases to be a self serving autonomous activity that takes possession of you and runs your life. Awareness takes over from thinking. Instead of being in charge of your life, thinking becomes the servant of awareness. Awareness is conscious connection with universal intelligence. Another word for it is presence, consciousness without thought. So, what is the relationship between awareness and thinking? Awareness is the space in which thoughts exist when that space has become conscious of itself. Again, awareness is the space in which thoughts exist. When that space has become conscious of itself, your inner purpose is to awaken. It is as simple as that. You share that purpose with every other person on the planet because it is the purpose of humanity. Your inner purpose is an essential part of the purpose of the whole, the universe, and its emerging intelligence. Your outer purpose can change over time. It varies greatly from person to person. Finding and living in alignment with the inner purpose is the foundation for fulfilling your outer purpose. It is the basis for true success. So, this last paragraph feels like a full circle coming back to our initial reading that we did around, that how you are unique, how you are here to do something unique, to express yourself in a unique way, and to share your gifts. And the author says that all these outer purpose, the form it takes, can be different from other person, and it can also change over time. But what we need to realize is that we all have the same inner purpose, and it is going to be the same no matter you know the time, because that is to awaken to our true nature, to recognize ourselves as the awareness. As the author mentioned here, that where is it? Yeah, awareness is the space in which thought exists. When that space has become conscious of itself. So, for example, you can experience the statement if I ask you guys to notice what thoughts are going on in your head right now, and then notice who is aware, who is noticing these thoughts, who is the one who is aware of these thoughts. So I'm not sure if I was able to guide you through it because I didn't. I just blurted out the process. But sometimes it helps us to notice the thought and then shift our awareness to even further to notice who is noticing the thought. And then we get a feel, a touch of it. Cassandra says, feels like I just went through a ego death. So my awareness feels very different now. Thank you so much, Cassandra, for sharing that. And the experience is going to be different for everyone. So if you didn't had the same experience as Cassandra, then it doesn't mean that you didn't do it right, or you know, you are not, um, how do I say it? Like, you are not more spiritual or more aware yet. That's not the case, because the we do not need to judge the experience, because that is the reality. You are in direct contact with that reality as it is, and we do not need to, um make it any different than what it is. So whatever experience that you had during this practice, or at any other time when you try to connect with your true self, it is valid. It Because that was the reality at that moment, and you met the reality. And remember, the word that the author used for it was presence. That another name for it can be presence. And that's a practice, to be present with whatever is arising. And you can, be present with something simple or more complex, more subtle. But that is the practice, to be present, to be. That is the practice. And if you would like to, actually, reflect more on this, I did created a track a long time ago. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. So a lot of people have found this insightful, so I'm hoping that you would too. So I invite you to check this one out and see how it lands for you. Mike says, I have recently gone through a change from thoughts to positive thoughts and a true awakening. I understand the difference from mindless thoughts to be very aware as these thoughts present themselves. Exactly. So that was my process. That was, part of my journey as well. So when I started, you know, exploring more of this, like, self help, psychology, because I have that background, and, meditation and all of these stuff. So, what happened was, first I shifted from thinking negative to positive. But then I also realized that is also toxic positivity, which was not a very famous phrase then, I guess, a few years ago. So yeah, I shifted from negative thoughts to positive thoughts, extreme positive thoughts, slightly positive thoughts. And then the next step that happened was that I realized thoughts as thoughts. So no matter the content of the thought, no matter if the thought is negative or positive, no matter if the thought makes me feel good or bad, it is just a thought. It is just a product of mind. And I can witness it unfold and, you know, um, fade away from my awareness. So that was truly like, that was truly, eye opening. And you reminded, your share, Mike, reminded me of that shift when I first experienced that. And it is like that, you might have read it, or, listen to people say, that it is here right now, right? And it has always been, you just need to awaken to it. And it felt, that experience felt like that I was always, I could always notice it. I was always here and thoughts were here. It's just I unnecessarily grabbed onto it. So I unnecessarily tried to, use that as a form of stability in this uncertain world. I unnecessarily identified with it and made things complex. It was never that. So it was that kind of experience for me. So yeah, very much, um, relatable, or, whatever Mike shared here, very much resonating at that level. So thank you for your share. Cassandra says, yes, and being too aware sucks sometimes. but you just take note of certain things and keep it moving. Yeah, so, I've heard a lot of people say that. And the thing is that and that was my experience as well, that I became too aware of my patterns. And it was like, I know I shouldn't do this. I know, this is happening. This is an old pattern. And why am I repeating it? And it is frustrating. And a lot of clients of mine have said that. And a thing that I mentioned to them and that I will say to you now is that what you're missing is you are, you notice that reality, you notice that pattern unfold, and then you judge it. Then you want it to be different. You are not accepting it. You are not bringing compassion to it, compassion to yourself. So, simple mindfulness, if you are just bringing mindfulness, it is incomplete with the love component. It is a beautiful, it brings clarity of what is happening, but that can go either way, So if it is leading to frustration, then you are missing some certain components, which is, to bring in love, to bring in acceptance, and to bring, to bring the warmth components, the, I don't know, the yin, the feminine energy. So yeah, so like those kind of components. I hope that if, that was helpful in some way, Cassandra, to help you figure out that what might be missing in that practice, or what you might benefit from adding. Mike says, thank you for sharing your experience. I am glad that you all listened to me so patiently, as I shared it. Yeah, exactly. So Durgesh also shared that being too aware also made me overanalyze everything. It's very important to keep a balance. Exactly. So now the thing that Durgesh touched was that, analyzing it a lot, So now you are not involving awareness, you are involving your thoughts. So you are using your thoughts to figure out your thoughts. You're using your thoughts to figure out your life. And that takes us, um backward towards this progress, if there is backward or forward. But yeah, it just increases more difficulty, it just increases more time and effort. So we do not need, so once you become aware of it, um sometimes processing helps, but there are a lot of steps in between as well that we need to go through before we jump on to analyzing, before we use thoughts to understand our thoughts, before we use thoughts to, analyze the situation, figure out the things, figure out the challenges. Before we go to that, we need to address the subtle parts like our emotion and everything. And then we can move on to that part. Because when we reach there, then we would not bring this fear and this tense energy with ourselves, and we would not get tangled there. So yeah, so that is what came up for me when you shared that, Durkesh. And it seems like he agrees. Okay. So I guess, we are, reaching soon, like 1.5 hours. So hmm, it seems like a good time to wrap the live, because we did reach the full circle with the last paragraph that we read about inner purpose and outer purpose, going back to our first reading. So yeah, I guess, hmm, let's end this live. So now I have like two endings for two different type of people here. The first type of people are who are regular ones here, who have been here before, who have stayed till the end and know what I'm going to say next. So for those people, if you feel like, like saying goodbye, if you want to go and do something else, then you're welcome to, bid goodbye, and I will see you like in the next live. And if you want to stay, I would love to have you for a little more time as well. So, yeah, that is the first type of people who are present in this space. And the second type of people who are the people who have joined this life for the very first time, who or maybe who have been here before but haven't stayed till the end to know about all the different resources that I have created for you guys, all the things that I offer. So if you fall into the second category, I would like you to stay for like 10 more minutes and then we will wrap the live. Okay, because I want you to carry something actionable from this life so you can actually apply it and see that change, that transformation happen in your life. Thank you for all the lovely hearts. Mike says thoughts can be great, but most importantly, we must put into action the positive energy that comes from awareness. For me, I must take the action without an expectation. Yeah, so Mike is talking about, this non-attachment thing, this non-clinging to the result or to the outcome thing. And thoughts are not bad. They are not bad at all. They are a tool, and we just need to know how to use that tool. Exactly what the author mentioned here, that once we awaken, we do not get rid of thoughts. We actually make those thoughts our servant so they can serve us in the right manner in terms of whatever it is that we want to do. Okay, so Joanne says Namaste, Nisha, and everyone. Namaste, Joanne. So, okay, so now let us move on to the second group of people, and let me share with you some things that might help you um in whatever ways that you need. So, so before I begin with the resources, firstly, I want to convey to all of you that in case you guys joined this live late, or if you would like to revisit the meditation that we did, which was on today's quote that you see on Inside Timer, that problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. So if you want to do a meditation and, just catch up on this live, then where you can do so is, hmm, me a second to open it. You're so welcome, Cassandra, and thank you so much for this kind donation. I am glad that the reading resonated with you and that you're taking something away from the space. Thank you. Kathleen says, thank you, Anisha. Bye bye. Bye bye, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely to have you. Okay. Yes, I was telling you where you can find this live. So, yeah, you can go to the okay, so when you go to my profile, you will see something like this, okay, on the home page. So you can go to the very last thing, which is the About section here. Scroll all the way down, and at the bottom, you will see this. And here you will find today's live as well as all the previous live in the series, which is Wheel of Wisdom. Okay, so if you want to catch on to the meditation or the readings, you're welcome to do that. And if you do not want to watch the whole video, then and simply just, catch on to the readings, then there is another way, which is to receive a summary of today's live. And where I post that summary is on my group, which is called Wonderful Beings. So you can either search for it on Insight Timer, or you can again go to my profile on the home page, scroll all the way down, and at the bottom, you will see something like teachers group here. So this is my little community of over 100 people. And here, within like 5 or 10 minutes of this live ending, I post a summary, including the, type of meditation that we did, the name of the books that we read, and the exact readings. Okay. So you can, read them in case you missed any reading or you just want to read it again. And I also put some updates there. So, yeah, so I would love to have you in that community. So this was about how you can catch this live or any part of the live. Now comes the second part, which is about all the resources that I've created for you guys. Okay. So the first place where you can find all of my resources is just above this group that I showed you, you will see something like playlist. Okay. So there are four playlists, and I have organized all of my content in the form of these playlists. Okay. So, you can check them out at your own time whenever you feel, after the live. Um, because it might take a lot of time if I mention each one. But yeah, y- there are like some fully, like some challenges, a lot of beautiful techniques to help you with emotional overwhelm and everything, and like a fun game as well. So yeah, you can check them out. Then the second place where you can find all of my resources is the courses section. Okay. So here you will find all of my 7 courses. Okay. So this one is on acceptance, how to accept a difficult situation, process it, move on from it. Then this one is about, how to live more mindfully. Like if you want to really cultivate this presence, awareness, and mindfulness in your life, then you can check that out. This is about how to stop chasing and start living, moving from doing to being. This one is about, I just shared that how to find peace, beauty, wonder, awe, and, joy in your daily life. And then we have this one. This is about a step by step process to, change your negative thinking and turn it into more helpful thinking. Not positive, but helpful, but, functional. So there is a difference between that. Then we have this course, which is to help you identify the usual, you know, to identify all the thinking, all the ways of thinking, unhelpful ways of thinking that is based upon therapeutic approaches, to identify which ones do you have, and to also have the specific techniques to address each type of those thinking patterns so you can live more peacefully. And then there is this final course, which is about identifying your limiting beliefs, which are usually hidden away in your subconscious mind, but they are controlling the results that you're getting in your life. So you might want to take a look, take a peek of what is going on in all of this, all of your subconscious mind. And yeah, and choose to not believe the ones that you have gotten from somewhere else and they are not serving you anymore. So I've just touched upon what I have courses on. So if you resonated with any of the ones, you can check them out just like you can check out the playlist that I shared. And the final place, so if any of the resource that I shared with you didn't resonated, is not what you're looking for, then I have a third place where, you know, you can get some additional guidance and support personally from me. So, how you can or where you can find that is you can go to the about section in my teacher's profile, scroll all the way down, and here you will find a way to work more personally with me. And also, you will find a little bit more about my own journey, what I have went through and everything. And yeah, and a lot more other, surprise gifts for you. So you will find all of them there as well. So I guess that's it, for this live. And I so appreciate you guys listening to me so patiently all this while. Thank you for all the lovely interaction. It was so amazing interacting with you guys today. Thank you for all the love, all the hearts that flowed in. And thank you for your presence. I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. And I will see you day after tomorrow. Bye. You're welcome, Durkesh. I'm glad you found it perfect. Kim says thank you for your poise and presence. Thank you, Kim, for coming back again. It was lovely having you. Um, you're welcome, Sherry. Mike says it has been amazing to be here. Likewise, it was so amazing to, read about all your experiences. Pretty, insightful and resonating. Namaste, Kimber. Namaste, Chandan. Bye bye, Mike. Okay.